This was all sorts of tangled. What's good, YouTube? And welcome to, sorry, not that channel. If you did not recognize that intro, that is House of Champs. Highly recommend him. But he does more Market Watch content, and there's a huge reason that I don't do that. It's because I'm absolutely terrible at it. So Market Watch, investment, that kind of stuff, I am not good at. All right, I don't know what's going to go up. I don't know what's going to go down. And a lot of times I make terrible investment decisions, showcased by our Dogmatica deck here. Quick backstory. So the other day, I post on Instagram and I say basically, look guys, I'm looking for a new competitive deck. I have a few options, I have a few options here. I could either continue building some of my budget options like Subterror, like Trickstar, like Unchained, that kind of stuff, or basically I could take the money that I'm going to dump into that, or maybe go the Invoke to Dogmatica route. And when I posted that, one of my friends hit me up and he said, listen, don't go the Invoke Dogmatica route. Try this deck profile I'm about to send your way, and he sent me over this here. I don't know much about Spellbook, but basically what he sent me was Spellbook Dogmatica. Dog spell? Spell dog? The OG? I don't know. I don't quite know what you would call this, but it is something that is pretty insane actually, and I kind of like it. So let's see if we can maybe make some misplays and try and figure this deck out. Let's get to it. Let's start this off by saying that we run a lot of Dogmatica cards. Almost everyone is 3 of, which is not something I commonly see in Dogmatica deck profiles that are starting up. I see a lot of Fleur-de-Lis, I see Maximus, I see Ecclesia, but the one he sent over actually includes Aiden, Theo, and 1 copy of Nexus as well, which is pretty interesting. A lot of this I will be reading just the exact copy of the card, so I do apologize if that bothers you. The thing is, these are newer cards to the TCG, so I don't know them that well. Maybe you guys don't know them that well. If you don't care about that stuff, I'll try and put timestamps so you guys can, I don't know which way it is, but go ahead and watch the playthrough. But if it does interest you, let's jump into the card by card. Sorry, that way. Jeez, this is already confusing. All right, so first things first, 3 Fleur-de-Lis. His effect reads, during the main phase, if a monster special summon from the extra deck is on the field, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then if you control another Dogmatica monster, you can negate the effects of one face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn. When your Dogmatica monster declares an attack, you can make all Dogmatica monsters you currently control gain 500 attack. I believe that's only a once per turn effect, which is pretty good. You can only activate, once per turn. So it doesn't have to be him, but if one of your Dogmatica monsters attacks, he gains 500. Your other Dogmaticas gain 500, but it's not once each per Dogmatica monster, if that makes sense. But it is once per turn, so that does stack. Look out for that. Next up, we have 3 Dogmatica Maximus. This one I'll kind of just go over quickly. I think I know it. But basically you have to summon him by banishing a Fusion, Synchro Xyz, or Link from your graveyard. And then you can special summon him from your hand. And then basically you dump 2 of your extra deck monsters to dump 2 of your opponents. And in a time when a lot of extra decks are packed tight with monsters that you really don't want to lose, that's a pretty good effect. Next up we have Dogmatica Theo, the Iron Punch. Basically, he takes 600 from your opponent's extra deck monster or your own, and then gains 600 himself. So that could be used in an OTK type scenario. I've used it when he was the only one on my field to get over like Decode Talker, stuff like that. So it could be used to kind of out a monster, but that 600 is almost not quite enough to get over everything. So it is pretty good though. Next up we have Ecclesia, who is kind of our Rhoda for the deck. She searches your Dogmatica monsters, and a lot of these cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster special summon from the extra deck. So you'll almost survive a lot. So that's pretty good. So next up we have 3 copies of Aiden, and Aiden says it cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster special summon from the extra deck. And then you can only use each of the following effects of Dogmatica Aiden the Enlightened once per turn. If a monster special summon from the extra deck is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 Dogmatica monster from your deck. That's a really good effect. So I could see him going into maybe Ecclesia and then getting a search from there, or really just kind of anything. So we'll keep an eye out for Aiden. And then we'll go into Nexus, which we're running one Nexus, and I'll show you why. So we have our one Nexus. His effect is basically, let's see here. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a special summon monster, destroy all your opponent's attack position monsters, then inflict 800 damage to your opponent for each fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link monster destroyed by this effect. Sorry, I'm reading a lot of words here, and that is not my forte. So an insane effect, but his summoning condition must be special summoned by its own effect. You can target 4 fusion, synchro, Xyz, and or link monsters in the graveyards. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, banish them. So in against decks that like to link climb, like like Salamangrates, that would be a great effect. But going first, I almost see him just being a huge brick. So we'll see. We'll see if he's useful. I may have to side him out or something, but we'll see. Next up, we have Fallen of Albaz. Pretty cool. He's actually a Dark Dragon monster, so that's why we have our Striker Dragons in the extra deck down there. But it says if this card is normal or special summoned, except during the damage step, you can discard 1 card, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters on either field as fusion material, including this card. But you cannot use other monsters you control as fusion material. So it's actually a really good effect, but it is slightly confusing the way that they word that. Next up, we have the beginning of our spellbook package, and that is Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. I'm sort of familiar with spellbooks, but not quite the combos, which is good content for making misplays, but bad content for knowing what the heck's going on. Basically, Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, or Blue Boy, as he is affectionately called, searches a spellbook monster when he's normal summoned, or flipped face up, so that's pretty good. Nadir Servant. Nadir Servant is actually pretty insane. So you basically dump an extra deck monster, and then add 1 Dogmatica monster or Fallen of Albaz from your deck or graveyard to your hand that has attack less than or equal to the sent monster in the graveyard. Also, for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck. So that's pretty insane as well. Dogmatica Nation is our field spell. It says neither player can target Dogmatica monsters you control with effects of monsters that were special summoned from the extra deck. You can only use each of these effects once per turn. After damage calculation, if your Dogmatica monster battled an opponent's monster, destroy that opponent's monster. Okay, let's get it. Then it says if this face-up card on the field zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can have each player send 1 monster from their extra deck to the graveyard. That doesn't seem like a good effect at first glance, but honestly, with the extra deck that we have lined up, it is pretty insane. Next up, we have Magicalized Fusion. It says fusion summon 1 spellcaster fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your field or graveyard. You can only activate 1 per turn. And next up, we have our spellbook stuff. So Spellbook of Knowledge is pretty plain and simple. It says send to the graveyard either 1 spellcaster monster you control or 1 spellbook card from your hand or face up on the field and draw 2. That's a great card. 2 Spellbook of Secrets. That's basically just a search for one of your other spellbooks. Spellbook of Power lets one of your spellcasters gain 1,000 attack, and then each time it destroys an opponent's monster, you get to search for a spellbook card from your deck. So that's pretty good. The next 2 I'm not as familiar with, and that's Spellbook of the Master. It says you can reveal 1 other spellbook card in your hand, then target 1 spellbook normal spell card in your graveyard. Except Spellbook of the Master, this card's effect becomes that target's effect. Okay, it's a little confusing, but alright. Then we have Spellbook Star Hall, which says each time a spellbook spell card is activated, place 1 spell counter on this card. All spellcaster type monsters you control gain 100 attack for each spell counter on this card. When this card with this spell counter is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 spellcaster type monster from your deck to your hand whose level is less than or equal to the number of spell counters that were on this card. Wow. Next up, We have the close of both the main deck and our Dogmatica cards, and then it's 3 Dogmatica encounters, which basically special summon or add to our hand 1 either Dogmatica or Fallen of Albaz. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but hey, I'll correct myself. And then the last card in the main deck is our 1 Dogmatica Punishment. And it says target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, send 1 monster with an equal or higher attack from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that monster. Until the end of your next turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. You can only activate 1 Dogmatica Punishment per turn. Now, last but not least, we have our extra deck, and I will kind of try and go through this a little fast, but it depends. We have our Quintet Magician, which is basically just there to wipe the board and go for OTKs. Surprisingly, pretty easy to get out, so not bad. Then we have our Elder Entity Entis. Not sure if I'm saying that right either, but hey, let's go for it. Basically, you dump that and you get to target and destroy a card on the field. Frame Lord Omega. Let me see. If this card is sent to the graveyard, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 other card in the graveyard, shuffle both that card and this card from the graveyard into the deck. Shuffle back's not bad. 1 Wind Pegasus ad Ignister that shuffles 1 of your opponent's monsters into their deck, which is awesome. We have one of our win conditions in an OTK. That's Utopia and Utopia Lightning. We do have a lot of rank 4 monsters, or level 4 monsters, I guess. So that's pretty easy to go into. 2 Daybreaker, the Shining Magical Warrior. Pretty good for OTKs, and he's also got his second effect, which reads, if a spellcaster monster is special summoned from the... Okay, no. You can remove 2 spell counters from this card, then target 1 card on the field, destroy it. So that's a pretty good effect. He does have 2 of these. My friend added 2 of that and Striker Dragon in this deck. The thing I'm thinking here is a lot of these are either 2-ofs or even something like that. So when you activate Maximus's effect, you can have an extra card to dump if you're out of ones that actually do anything. So we will see there. Crowley is pretty good. That searches or reveals 3 Spellbook monsters and add 1 to your hand. Striker Dragon there for Albaz and to summon other stuff out. Same with Clara. Almirage is basically pretty easy to get out, but also like dump fodder, I guess is how you would say that, but we'll see. And then 2 Titaniclad, which is a Fallen of Albaz plus 1 monster with 2,500 or more attack fusion. And it says it gains attack equal to the combined original levels of the monsters used for its fusion summon times 100. After this card is fusion summoned for the rest of this turn, it is unaffected by the activated effects of any other monsters special summoned from the extra deck. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 Fallen of Albaz or Dogmatica monster from your deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. That is insane, and we've finally reached the end of that. So let's jump into the games. We are playing against a basic bot. Let me get myself off the screen here. All right, we start game 1 by actually going first, which is not something I expected since we lost the coin flip there, or rock, paper, scissors, as it were. So we're going to set our Spellbook of the Master. I don't think that's going to really do much for us right now. So we don't really have any spellbooks. We do have an Ecclesia, so we can go into something from there. But actually what we're going to do is we're going to normal our Fallen. We're not... All right, we'll go into Striker. From Striker, then we can go into our Ecclesia, who gets us a search. We're going to search for... I think Fleur de Lis is the way to go on this one, but I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Aiden, I don't quite remember what he does. What does it say? You can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is on the field, it's destroyed by battle or card effects. Special summon 1 from the deck. That's a great one. We are actually going to throw him on the field in defense position. Nah. But you'll see how really insanely easy it is to go off from here. But the thing I don't like is now I have a Striker out and I don't know where to go from here. Dogmatica, Ecclesia, and Aiden are both out, which is fine. But I mean, if they set up something pretty big, I mean, they're just gonna go right over me. We are going to save Fleur de Lis until next turn, just in case we survive. Oh, look. Let's see. What does this say here? If you control another Dogmatica monster, you can negate the effects of one face-up monster in the field. So no. I don't think we have anything to stop the Dark Hole. They are all gone, just like that. We are going to activate Aiden, and we could go... Let's go into Ecclesia in defense and use her search to get out a Maximus. I could go also into Nation, though. I'm thinking... Depends what we're up against. Let's search Maximus for now, I guess. Okay, they got a Mind Control. Balancer. What are they going into? Is that a Cypher's deck? Oh, wow. They have a fully equipped board. Now we'll wait a little bit. Okay. That's not bad. We do get our Ecclesia back. That is fine. We do have another Ecclesia in hand, which is totally fine. We're going to play that. We are going to special our homeboy. Let's see. Negate. I should have probably read that a little further and actually figured out which one I want to negate there, but that's alright. Let's also go into Maximus. He has gone into his extra deck, so that could be very, very important here. Gonna banish our striker, go into Maximus. Going to put you into attack position and activate you. We will dump one of our doubles. Actually, well, no. And one of our antitheses. So, yes, I do. And we are going to, I guess, go over you. Alright. That's pretty darn good. Let's see here. We will actually start by going right on through Dot Scraper, and we are going to activate that, so we all get plus 500. We will do Dogmatica Nation to destroy, but it just comes on right back. That's fine. 2,000 to you. 2,000 to you. And then 3,000 into Dot Scraper again. Dot Scraper. And that's all we can do right now, so we're passing turn, but that's really not a bad place to be in. Let's see. We've got their boots staggered. Okay, we do take... What? Yeah, gonna destroy that. They do get a token from it, but that's... Ooh, into a Honeybot. That's fine. Honeybot ain't no thing. We're going to dump our Wind Pegasus to actually shuffle him back, and we do get a search. What do I want to go into? Go to Ecclesia and then search again. Let's go Theo. So we are going to normal Theo. We're going to activate... I didn't get the shuffle effect. I must have done something wrong there. I thought Wind Pegasus had the shuffle. But this looks like it's going to be game here. And we are going to each gain 500 attack again. So we'll let Theo have that win. We're going second against Cleaforts, which is not fun because they usually play Skill Drain, and since they set 3, I am sure Skill Drain. Oh, I hate you. They didn't set it, though. Round 2, we opt to go first here. We are stuck. We are absolutely stuck. We have nowhere to go with Nadir's Servant. We actually can activate that. Let's do that. We will send a Titaniclad, get the search for Ecclesia, which is awesome. Let's see. And we're going to set him, actually, and pass. I believe that's where we're going to stop. So we also get Titaniclad's effect in the end phase. To search, we will go with Fleur-de-Lis. We will summon him in attack position, and we will pass turn. That might protect us for a turn. Trickstar is not very fun. And they're playing 2 light stages. Two. Which is also banned, or not banned, limited, excuse me. But that's alright. Eater of Millions is not very fun. Here comes Lycoris. Yes, we do want that. And we're going to summon Fleur-de-Lis. Alright, so they lose their Corobane effect. That's fine. We did draw and ran into their effect. Double Lycoris, not Licorice. And Light Stage's effect. Don't think that's going to affect us too terribly right now. But we'll see. This looks like it might be Trickstar Grand Maju, so I don't think they'll go into their extra deck that much. But we can go ahead and activate that and get him out of here. And then go into Maximus. We will dump. Let's see. Let's dump. I have kind of an idea of what I want to dump. I also think it's wrong, but we do want to activate that to hit Eater of Millions because that is just not a bundle of fun. Alright, then we will normal that and go into, let's actually go into Dogmatica Nation. Try and get some protection for us from, yeah, I know I shouldn't have done that. We will activate that, we will be fine. And then, no, we don't have an extra deck monster. So that's just what we're going with for right now. We are going to attack. Here we will activate Fleur-de-Lis. They have a Corobane, which is not fine. And then we are going to destroy it anyway, but our Fleur-de-Lis does get destroyed as well. And then we attack into their second one. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We pass turn. We do have that Magicalized Fusion. Let me see. We've 3, 4. Looks like we have 5 here. I think we just need to get him in the graveyard. Taking a little bit of damage from Trickstar effects, which is not fun at all. We're taking more here. They have another 2 Lycoris back. And then we also take damage from their Trickstar Light Stage, which is not fun. I do not want to summon that just yet. Actually, let's go into Breaker. No. Now we can activate and summon Fleur-de-Lis. He gets a counter on him, which is awesome. I believe, is that 5 in the grave? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we can get Quintet Magician out. Boom! By graveyard, 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 graveyard. Bang! Alright, we have Quintet out. Let's see. I need to read his effect because if it clears the whole board, I don't want that. So all cards your opponent controls. Yes, please. And that right there, I believe, is game. And yeah, I do. Boom. There it is, guys. We've won. Due to actually battery restraints on my laptop right now, we are going to have to stop there today. Probably look at adding some hand traps in there and see what we think. But right now, it's running pretty smoothly. So that's all for now, guys. Thank you so much for hanging in there. This was very fun to do, but I know that these things are time consuming and get to be pretty long, so I do appreciate you sticking in there. As always, with everything going on, stay happy, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.